I never thought I'd be standing here again, staring at my parents' front door after all these years. My name's Bella 28F, and this house holds memories I've tried hard to forget. My phone feels heavy in my pocket, still warm from my mom's unexpected call asking me to come over urgently. Behind me, my car sits in the driveway, and I can't help but think about my 12-year-old daughter Lily who I just dropped off at my friend Madison's place. It'll only take a couple of hours, I had told Lily, trying to sound more confident than I felt. The last time I properly spoke to my parents was at my grandmother's funeral 3 years ago. Before that, it was that terrible day when I was 18, when they chose my sister Lisa, 36F, over me. I still remember standing in this very spot, tears streaming down my face as they told me they were giving my college fund to Lisa for her wedding. But it's my education. I had screamed. Your sister needs a proper wedding, Mom had said firmly. You can take out student loans like everyone else. I left that day and never really came back. My grandmother was the only one who stood by me, she helped me pay for community college. Not the prestigious university I dreamed of, but it was something. I worked hard, got my degree, and built my own life. The years that followed were a blur of determination and small victories. I met Jack, my ex-husband, during my final year of college. We got married, had Lily, and for a while, everything seemed perfect. Even after our divorce 2 years ago, things stayed civilized. Jack pays good alimony, and we both put Lily first. Now at 28, I'm doing okay. The apartment I bought with my inheritance from Grandma, God bless her soul, brings in steady rental income. Between that, the alimony, and my small but growing online business, I can afford to spend plenty of time with Lily. Taking a deep breath, I finally ring the doorbell. Whatever they want, I tell myself, I'm not that scared 18-year-old anymore. Bella, you came. Mom opens the door, and her enthusiasm catches me off guard. She looks older than I remember, more gray in her hair, more lines around her eyes. Dad stands behind her, attempting a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. Where's Lily? Mom asks, peering around me. We haven't seen her since. She's at a friend's, I cut her off, stepping inside. You said it was urgent. The house smells the same, Mom's vanilla air freshener mixing with Dad's coffee. They lead me to the living room, and I notice how everything looks slightly worn down. The fancy furniture they bought for Lisa's wedding is showing its age. Would you like some tea? Mom asks, wringing her hands. Just tell me why you called, I say, remaining standing. It's been years, and suddenly it's urgent? Mom starts crying, not the quiet tears I remember from my childhood, but deep, body-shaking sobs. Dad puts his arm around her, and I feel my stomach tighten. We're going to lose the house, he finally says. I wait, knowing there's more. There's always more with them. Your sister. Mom begins, and I feel that familiar twist in my gut. Of course it's about Lisa. She asked us to take out a business loan for her husband, for Tom's business. We used the house as collateral. Let me guess, I say, my voice flat. Lisa's not paying. Tom's business went bankrupt, Dad explains, looking everywhere but at me. Lisa and the kids are struggling. They've stopped making payments, and we can't cover it ourselves. I start laughing, and they both look at me like I've lost my mind. Maybe I have. So you called me, the daughter you abandoned, the one whose education fund you gave away, to bail you out of another mess Lisa created? We know you're doing well, Mom says quickly, wiping her eyes. Your apartment, the rental income, we wouldn't ask if we weren't desperate. I stand there, looking at these people who chose my sister over me at every turn, who didn't even send me a wedding invitation, who barely acknowledged me at my grandmother's funeral because Lisa was pregnant. I'll think about it, I hear myself say, and I'm as surprised as they are. I need to pick up Lily. As I drive away, I can't shake the feeling that I'm about to make either the biggest mistake or the most important decision of my life. Either way, nothing would ever be the same again. Mom, why are you crying? Lily asked as soon as I picked her up from Madison's house. My daughter has always been perceptive, too perceptive sometimes. I quickly wiped my eyes, not even realizing I'd been crying during the drive. Just thinking about some stuff, sweetie, I said, trying to sound casual. Actually, I saw your grandparents today. Lily's eyes lit up instantly. Really? The ones from the pictures? Can I meet them? Of course she'd want to meet them. They were her grandparents, even if they'd never bothered to be part of her life. I spent the next week wrestling with my thoughts, barely sleeping, playing out every possible scenario in my head. You're insane, Madison told me over coffee. After everything they did? Maybe I am, I admitted. But Lily deserves a chance to know her grandparents, and honestly, maybe I need this too. To finally face it all. So a week later, I found myself driving back to my parents' house, this time with Lily bouncing excitedly in the passenger seat. The reunion was strange. Mom burst into tears again, and Dad just stood there awkwardly before Lily broke the ice by running up and hugging them both. They looked shocked, then delighted, and for a moment, I saw genuine joy in their eyes, the kind I used to see directed at Lisa. We spent the afternoon there, and I watched as Lily charmed them completely. She showed them her drawings, told them about school, about her friends, about the time she won the spelling bee. They listened to every word, and I saw something I hadn't expected, regret in their eyes when they looked at me. That evening, as Lily chattered happily about her grandparents on the drive home, I made my decision. Maybe I was crazy. Maybe I was setting myself up for more hurt. But I was going to help them. The next day, I called my real estate agent and arranged to rent out my apartment again. Then I called Mom. I'll help with the loan payments, I said before I could change my mind. I'm moving in with Lily. The rental income from my apartment will go toward the loan payments. I'll help with bills too, but we need to set some boundaries. There was silence on the other end, then Mom started crying again. Thank you, Bella. Thank you so much. Within 2 weeks, Lily and I had moved in. I bought new appliances for the house, a fancy refrigerator with an ice maker that Lily loved, a dishwasher that actually worked, and a washing machine that didn't sound like it was about to explode. Lo and behold, Dad's back problems improved once he didn't have to hand-wash dishes anymore, and Mom seemed genuinely happy to have us there. Life fell into a surprisingly comfortable routine over the next few months. Mom started making breakfast for everyone, and despite my initial reservations, I had to admit it was nice coming downstairs to fresh coffee and pancakes. She picked Lily up from school, helped her with homework, and even started teaching her to bake, something I'd never had the patience for. Dad switched to part-time work, his constant back aches finally getting better with less physical strain. He taught Lily how to play chess, something I'd never learned, and their weekly matches became a tradition. I found myself working more hours at the office, knowing Lily was well taken care of. Mr. Thompson, my boss, called me into his office one day. We've been noticing your increased dedication lately. How would you feel about a promotion? The new position meant more money but also more responsibility, including regular business trips to other states. In the past, I would have turned it down immediately, single mom, no support system, it wouldn't have worked. I'll take it, I said, surprising myself with how confident I felt. The first time I had to leave for a business trip, I was a nervous wreck. 3 days in Chicago felt like an eternity. She'll be fine, I said to myself probably 100 times. And she was. Mom sent me pictures of Lily doing homework, having dinner, playing with Dad. It worked. It all worked. But there were moments, little things that made me uneasy. Like when Mom would get phone calls from Lisa and disappear into her room, emerging with red eyes. Or when I'd find bank transfer notifications on Mom's phone while setting up her new tablet, money going to Lisa's account. She needs help sometimes, Mom defended when I confronted her about it. She's going through a rough patch with Tom. Mom, I'm paying all your bills and the loan that Lisa defaulted on. How is it fair that you're sending her money? You don't understand, Mom snapped, suddenly defensive. Lisa is not to blame for Tom's business failing. She has 2 children to feed. And I have 1 child and all your bills to feed, I shot back, but Mom had already turned away, shutting down the conversation like she always did when it came to Lisa. These arguments became more frequent, but I tried to ignore them. Lily was happy, I was advancing in my career, and most days it felt like we were healing old wounds. Dad even apologized one night after a few glasses of wine for what happened with my college fund. We made mistakes, he said, staring into his glass. I wanted to say more, to finally have that conversation we'd been avoiding for 18 years, but Mom quickly changed the subject to Lily's upcoming school play. 3 years passed this way. Lily turned 12, looking more grown up every day. I got used to my new role at work, traveling every few weeks but always coming home to a happy daughter. The loan payments were steady, the bills were paid, and life was stable. Then came that Tuesday evening. I remember it was Tuesday because I had just closed a big deal in Phoenix and caught an early flight home, wanting to surprise Lily. I could hear voices from the driveway, too many voices. Opening the front door, I stepped into chaos. There, sprawled on my parents' couch, the one I just had reupholstered last month, was Lisa. And beside her were 2 kids I recognized from photos but had never met, my niece and nephew. Suitcases were scattered around the living room, and Lisa was tapping away on her phone, barely looking up as I entered. "Oh," she said, her tone making it clear I was interrupting something. "Look who's here." And just like that, I knew everything was about to change again. Only this time, I wasn't that naive 18-year-old, and I wasn't going to let history repeat itself. "I left Tom," Lisa announced lazily from the couch, as if she was commenting on the weather. "He's a complete loser. We'll be staying here now." I stood there, my work bag still in hand, trying to process what I was hearing. My parents sat in their usual chairs, looking everywhere but at me. The kids, my niece Anna, 10F, and nephew Michael, 6M, were sprawled on the floor, watching TV on their tablets. "You'll be staying here," I repeated slowly. "In the house where I pay all the bills and the loan that you defaulted on?" Lisa's face flushed red. "Oh, here we go, Miss Perfect with her money and her job. Some of us have actual problems, Bella." "Actual problems? Like taking out a huge loan in our parents' name and then not paying it? That kind of problem?" "Girls, please," Mom interrupted, finally finding her voice. "We're family. We need to stick together in times like these." I let out a harsh laugh. Funny how family becomes important when you need something. Where was this family spirit when you gave away my college fund? Or when you didn't even invite me to Lisa's wedding? "That was years ago," Mom snapped. "Why can't you let it go? Your sister needs us now." Update 1, the next few weeks were tense. Lisa sprawled on the couch all day, texting and watching TV while her kids ran wild through the house, making messes they never cleaned up. But what really got to me was how my parents changed. Suddenly, Lily was invisible to them. When Lily tried to show Grandma her math test where she got an A+, Mom just waved her away, too busy helping Michael with his video game. When Lily asked Dad for their weekly chess match, he said he was too tired, right before spending 2 hours playing catch with Anna in the backyard. Then I started noticing money disappearing from my purse. Small amounts at first, $20 here, $50 there. I knew it was Lisa, but when I tried to confront her, she played innocent. "Are you accusing me of stealing?" she'd ask loudly, making sure our parents could hear. "After everything you have, you're going to accuse me over a few dollars?" I started keeping my purse locked in my room. The next day, I found my bedroom door had been jimmied open. Nothing was missing this time, but the message was clear: Lisa wanted me to know she could get to my things whenever she wanted. "Mom," I confronted her one evening after Lily went to bed, "what's going on? Why are you treating Lily differently? And why are you letting Lisa get away with everything?" "Don't be ridiculous," Mom dismissed me. "Lily's older, she doesn't need as much attention. Anna and Michael are younger, they need more support right now." "And what do you mean, getting away with everything? Your sister is struggling." "Support? Lily's 12. She needs her grandparents too. And Lisa's not struggling, she's manipulating everyone." But Mom had already turned away, hurrying to answer Lisa's call for more snacks. One morning, I came downstairs to find Lisa going through my work laptop. She slammed it shut when she saw me, but not before I caught a glimpse of my banking app on the screen. "What do you think you're doing?" I demanded. "Oh please," she rolled her eyes. "Like you don't have enough money to share." "I saw your promotion announcement on LinkedIn. Regional manager? Must be nice to have everything handed to you." Handed to me? I could hardly believe what I was hearing. "I worked my way up from nothing after you stole my college fund." "Here we go again with the college fund," she sneered. "Get over it already. Some of us have real problems." 2 months crawled by. I threw myself into work, taking extra projects just to avoid being home. Lisa still hadn't looked for a job, and my parents seemed fine with it. Every time I brought it up, they defended her. "She's going through a difficult time," Dad would say. "She has the children to think about," Mom would add. Meanwhile, I was still paying for everything, the loan, the bills, the groceries that seemed to disappear twice as fast now. But money wasn't what bothered me most. It was watching Lily become a ghost in her own home. I started noticing changes in her behavior. She stopped coming down for breakfast, saying she'd rather eat at school. She spent more time in her room, and when I asked why she didn't want to watch TV in the living room anymore, she just shrugged and said, "Aunt Lisa always says I'm in the way." One night, I heard muffled crying from Lily's room. When I went to check on her, I found her trying to hide a bruise on her arm. "It was an accident," she said quickly. "I bumped into Anna's dresser." But the next day, I overheard Lisa telling her kids, "If that stuck-up cousin of yours gets in your way again, push harder next time." I confronted Lisa immediately. She just laughed. "Kids play rough sometimes. Maybe if you weren't so overprotective, Lily wouldn't be such a wimp." Then came that Wednesday afternoon. I had come home early, hoping to take Lily for ice cream, our little escape, when things got too tense at home. I heard the shouting before I even opened the front door. "You lazy, good-for-nothing brat." Lisa's voice echoed through the house. "Look at this mess. Clean it up right now." I rushed inside to find Lisa standing over Lily, who was on her knees picking up scattered toys that I recognized as Michael's. "What's going on here?" I demanded. "Your precious princess refuses to help around the house," Lisa spat. "She thinks she's too good to clean up after her cousins." "After her cousins?" I looked at the toys again. "You mean your kids? Where are they, by the way?" "They're napping. Someone has to keep this house in order, and since you're never here." "I'm never here because I'm working," I exploded, unlike some people who lie around all day expecting everyone else to support them. The argument that followed was ugly. Lisa ran to our parents crying about how I was bullying her, and they took her side. Of course they took her side. "Bella, you need to be more understanding," Mom pleaded. "Lisa's children." "What about my child?" I interrupted. "What about Lily?" But they didn't answer. They never did when it came to choosing between Lisa and me. Later that night, I found Lily crying in her room. When I asked what was wrong, she finally broke down and told me everything. Lisa had been treating her like a servant for weeks, making her clean the house, cook for Lisa's kids, do their laundry. When Lily had stood up to her earlier, saying she needed to study for a test, Lisa had lost it. She grabbed my arm really hard, Lily whispered, showing me fresh bruises. She said if I didn't start showing more respect, she'd make sure Grandma and Grandpa knew what an ungrateful brat I was. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just about money or favoritism anymore. My daughter wasn't safe in this house. "This isn't our home anymore, is it, Mom?" Lily whispered, hugging her pillow. I held her close, trying to hide my own tears. "No, sweetie. I don't think it is." That night, I lay awake planning our exit strategy. I would wait until my next business trip to Seattle next week. I'd already lined up a tenant to move out of our apartment early, I just needed to coordinate the timing. I thought that was bad, but I had no idea what was coming. I caught Lisa in my room again the next morning, this time she was on my phone, sending herself money through my banking app. When I tried to stop her, she scratched my face and screamed that I had attacked her. Mom and Dad came running, and of course, they believed her tears over my bleeding cheek. The following week would change everything in ways I never could have imagined, and force me to make the hardest decision of my life. As I write this, my hands are still shaking from what happened next, but I need to document everything. Because what Lisa did next wasn't just cruel, it was unforgivable. Update 2, I'm still shaking as I write this final update. 4 days ago, I was in Seattle for what should have been a routine business trip. 3 days, I told myself. Just 3 days to close a deal, then I'd come back and figure out how to get Lily and me out of this situation. I had started noticing worrying signs in the days before my trip. Lily's favorite books had mysteriously disappeared, and when I found them in the trash, Lisa claimed Lily had thrown them away herself because reading makes her feel superior to my kids. Her cherished chess trophy from school was accidentally broken. Even her phone had been tampered with if Lisa had somehow gotten hold of it and blocked all of Lily's friends' numbers, saying, "Family should be enough." The first 2 days of my trip went quietly, too quietly, I realize now. Mom sent staged-looking photos of Lily at dinner, but my daughter's usual daily texts had stopped. When I tried video calling, Mom always had an excuse why Lily couldn't come to the phone. Then at 9 p.m. Seattle time, my phone rang. "Mom?" Lily's voice was small, broken by sobs. "Mom, I'm outside. Lisa kicked me out. She said I was in the way. I only have my phone." My 12-year-old daughter was on the street at night. Alone. With shaking hands, I called Madison to pick up Lily, then called Lisa. She answered on the 5th ring, sounding almost amused. "Oh, did the princess call you? I just taught her a valuable lesson about respect. Maybe now she'll learn who really belongs in this family." I hung up and called my parents. Mom answered. "Your granddaughter is on the street," I said, my voice ice cold. "Did you watch while Lisa threw her out?" There was a pause, then Mom's voice hardened. "Maybe it's better this way, Bella. Maybe you and Lily should find somewhere else to live. You don't really fit here anymore." In that moment, everything became crystal clear. Some things never change. Some people never change. You're right, Mom. We don't fit there. We never did. I hung up and booked the first flight home. Those 5 hours were the longest of my life. Madison sent updates every half hour. She'd given Lily dinner, found her some warm clothes, let her take a hot shower to calm down. But I couldn't rest until I could hold my daughter myself. When I finally got to Madison's house at 3 a.m., Lily was asleep on the couch, clutching her phone, her only connection to safety when she'd been thrown out. Madison pulled me aside and showed me something that made my blood boil. Lily's arm was covered in bruises, and there were scratches on her neck. "She didn't want to tell you over the phone," Madison whispered. "Lisa had grabbed her by the throat when she caught Lily trying to call you earlier. She only managed to escape when Lisa got distracted by her own kids fighting. I let Lily sleep and spent the night making calls, to my rental agency about ending my current tenant's lease early, to my lawyer about my rights to the appliances and furniture I'd bought, and to a moving company that could work on short notice. The next morning, I took Lily to breakfast at her favorite diner. She was quiet, pushing her pancakes around the plate. "Baby, I'm so sorry," I said, reaching for her hand. "I should have seen this coming. I should have protected you better." "It's not your fault," Lily said softly. "You wanted to give them a chance. I did too." She hesitated, then pulled up her sleeve to show me more bruises. "Lisa said if I ever told you what she was doing, she'd make sure we had nowhere to go. She said Grandma and Grandpa would always choose her, so we'd end up homeless." "Listen to me," I said, gripping her hands. "Nothing, absolutely nothing, is more important to me than you. Not my parents, not their house, not any of it. We're going home to our apartment, and this time we're staying there." After breakfast, we drove to my parents' house. Lisa's car was gone, probably on one of her mysterious errands that never seemed to involve job hunting. Mom opened the door, surprise flickering across her face. "Bella, we didn't expect you back so soon." I walked past her without a word, Lily's hand firmly in mine. The moving crew was already waiting outside. Take everything I bought, I instructed them. The refrigerator, washing machine, dishwasher, the new couch, the TV. I went through the house, pointing at every item I'd purchased over the past 3 years. You can't do this, Mom's voice rose in panic. We need those things. Actually, I can, I replied calmly, handing the movers my proof of purchase. I bought them. They're mine. Dad came home while the movers were working. He stood in the doorway, watching as they dismantled the entertainment system. Bella. He started, but I cut him off. Don't. You watched Lisa abuse your granddaughter. You chose Lisa over me again, and this time you chose her over an innocent child. We're done. But the loan, Mom's voice quivered. The bills? Figure it out yourselves. Just like I had to figure out college on my own. Just like Lily had to figure out how to survive being attacked and thrown out at night. Consider this my final payment for all the times you chose Lisa over me. As we were leaving, Lisa pulled up in her car. She took one look at the moving truck and started screaming about how I was destroying her family. Then she tried to grab Lily, actually tried to physically stop her from getting in our car. That's when I did something I'd never done before, I called the police. Watching Lisa try to explain to the officers why she had thrown a 12-year-old out of the house, why there were bruises on my daughter's body, and why she was now trying to prevent us from leaving, well, let's just say her tears didn't work on them like they did on our parents. The next few months were interesting. The calls and messages started immediately, from Mom, Dad, Lisa, back to Mom. They ranged from angry accusations to tearful pleas. Screenshots of overdue bills, photos of Lisa's kids looking sad, guilt trips about losing the house. Lisa even tried showing up at Lily's school, but I'd already alerted the administration about the situation. Why don't you answer them? Lily asked one evening as my phone buzzed again. We were sharing pizza on our apartment's balcony, watching the sunset. Our place felt smaller than my parents' house, but somehow more spacious without the weight of their expectations. Because we don't owe them anything, I replied. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. Lily nodded. I miss Grandpa's chess games sometimes. But not how they made me feel when Aunt Lisa came. We can get you proper chess lessons. You can learn from someone who won't stop teaching you just because your cousin shows up. Months passed. Through the family grapevine, I heard the bank had foreclosed on my parents' house. They moved into a small apartment, and Lisa found a new boyfriend to mooch off of. I used the money I'd been spending on their bills to take Lily on weekend trips instead. We visited theme parks, went hiking, took cooking classes together. Without the constant drama and fear, Lily thrived. Her grades improved, she joined the school chess club, and made new friends. The nightmares about Lisa gradually stopped. Sometimes I caught her looking at old photos from our time at my parents' house, but she never asked to go back. One Sunday morning, almost a year later, Lily came into the kitchen looking thoughtful. Mom, are you happy now? I stopped and really thought about it. Was I happy that I'd walked away from a toxic situation? That I'd protected my daughter? That I'd finally broken free from always putting Lisa first? Yes, I said. I am. Are you? Lily smiled that bright, unworried smile I hadn't seen in years. Yeah, I like it being just us. Later that day, I deleted my parents' numbers from my phone, keeping their voicemails in a folder labeled, Never Again, a reminder of why we left. Lily and I might be a small family, but we're a real one. We travel when we want, laugh when we want, and never apologize for taking up space in our own home. The money I used to spend on my parents' bills now goes into Lily's college fund. And this time, nobody's going to give it away for someone else's wedding. Thank you, Reddit, for all your support throughout this journey. Your comments helped me find the strength to protect what truly matters most.